Now, I know Ric Flair tweeted, I was in a plane crash, get out there, Brock Purdy. And it was a little odd. It was odd that Brock Purdy came back. We mentioned it on our live stream that Brock Purdy was good enough to come back into that game after Josh Johnson got knocked out. There was nothing from his time back in there, though, that would be held as evidence that said that he was good. Everything
he couldn't
was
throw.
line.
It was all run plays.
Brock Purdy said that he could not throw the ball further than 10 yards in the air. And that presumes that you're throwing it in a straight line. I mean, an out route for a 2-yard completion is probably 10 yards in the air.
They did a good job protecting him because when he went back in the game, he was forced back into the game. I was like, if he throws one ball, just one ball, I'm going to crush the guy. Because he could have came back earlier.
You called him a crock.
Whatever. Listen, I'm lashing out at Brock Purdy. And the reason is I felt like the Eagles were going to steamroll the 49ers regardless of whether or not it was Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson, and I didn't get to see it play out. And so Purdy has a built-in excuse now, and I can't really do anything with it.
He got let off the hook, essentially.
He did. Yeah, it's a heady play by Purdy. I mean.
I think it's worse for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are talking about planning as if Brock Purdy is your quarterback next year. What do they do?
That was a big evaluation spot for him.
Right.
Can he do this on the road?
But what do you mean, what do they do?
He went 8-1 as the starter.
They traded everything for Trey Lance, though.
I know. Well, and then there's the conversation about Tom Brady, which everyone thinks he's going to go there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you go into next year with just Trey Lance as your quarterback?
Is Garoppolo a free agent? I think so.
I believe so.
I think part of the agreement was that Garoppolo
was a free agent, yes.
So he's on the big deal. They have Trey Lance still on a rookie deal. Presumably he comes back to be in a quarterback battle with Brock Purdy next preseason if Tom Brady isn't there.
And if it's Brady, then Trey Lance gets to learn under Brady for a year or two.
The Brock Purdy thing was it was fortuitous for the Niners because they had to navigate their roster, and Deebo Samuel had already gotten his money this offseason. It was hard getting all that talent around Jimmy Garoppolo. They found ways to do it. But now they don't have to worry about that big quarterback contract, and they found the most valuable thing in that sport, you would think, which is get a quarterback you can win with that's on a rookie deal. He's on an especially cheap rookie deal because he was a last draft pick.
Now they have 2.
Yeah, and Trey Lance. I think there's more questions about what to do with Trey Lance, honestly, than what Brock Purdy is. I think Brock Purdy is shown. Do you think it's fool's gold with Brock Purdy? I know you're saying you wanted.
I don't know what it is. I don't think Kyle Shanahan knows what it is. That's why I wanted to see yesterday play out.
There's just so many things that went wrong, and I thought San Francisco did so well to battle back and get that game to 7-7. That game looked every bit as physical as we thought it might be. They navigated injuries to Bosa, to Warner in that game. They couldn't navigate injuries to both of their quarterbacks. If that game gets played again and everybody's entirely healthy, from the sample that we saw when everybody was healthy going at it in that game, I think it was worthy of a 1.5 point spread.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer that it happened this way. It's a bummer that you don't have the evaluation moment with Brock Purdy on the road, but they got their quarterbacks knocked out. That's what that looks like. It looks like 31-7 if it happens early.
Well, I mean, it should look like 31-7 with Brock Purdy, because
correct.
When you're down to your third string quarterback, that's what it should look like. They should not have been in this position when they lose Jimmy Garoppolo in the game against the Dolphins and they go on a winning streak. They win 7 games in a row as a result of having lost Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not how that happens. And yet, that's why people give Kyle Shanahan all sorts of credit, and why, I mean, yesterday it could have been like an all-time crowning achievement for him if he did it with Josh Johnson. And at 7-7, you're thinking, holy shit, is he going to do this? But I don't know what you do, because I think if you're saying running that offense, who would be sort of most effective, Brock Purdy has shown you way more than Trey Lance has. And I understand Trey Lance has played in a very small sample. They have to give it a go with him, I would think. But I actually think that not going for Brady, letting Garoppolo go, would allow them to maintain that advantage that you talk about, which is we can keep this great roster and we pay a collective $11 million to our quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. That's the value in this sport, and you can spend the rest of your salary cap money on the rest of the team.
Do we know that Brock Purdy is better than Jimmy G, though?
No idea.
That's what I mean. I think he's in that category right now. He hasn't established himself better than that.
So
I'm not gonna
Jimmy
get
G's
mad at,
solid.
I'm not
Like,
going to get mad at anybody for having that take. Brock Purdy was really good in his time.
But it's not even that he's better, is that Garoppolo is going to be a free agent and somebody's going to pay him $15 million, whereas Brock Purdy I think makes $770,000.
Yeah.
So you're paying
The salary doesn't justify
you're paying nothing for this person.
They already decided Jimmy G was Trey Lance's backup in week 1.
Yeah.
He lost the quarterback battle.
I mean,
might-
Brock
they might
Purdy's gonna
do
have a
that.
quarterback battle.
Could they do that this offseason? This is Trey Lance's job to lose, or they'd probably make it a
think-
more
I think
competition.
I
that
think it's a
might be-
quarterback competition.
You think
between-
so?
Well, not if Brady's there, though.
No, not if Brady's there.
But
Well,
again,
that just throws
Yeah.
a
Can I-
fucking
No
wrench in all of
competition.
it.
can I ask a genuine question? If you're the Niners, why would you do that?
I wouldn't.
Why
I-
wouldn't you?
Because you have your quarterback situation figured out. The strength of your team
You
is
think you do.
the strength of your team is your team.
No, but
And-
you think you do.
I think we saw enough from Brock Purdy to say that he's, no matter what, we know what we're going to get with him. I don't think he's going to be worse after you have off-season camps and all this film out there. Even if he's a little bit worse, it's still pretty good. I think his production was better than Jimmy Garoppolo's at that position.
He had 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
That's really good.
He was really good.
You project his numbers
Yes.
over a full season. He's a really good player.
How many starts did he make? Because those are really good numbers. He had 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 67% completion
yesterday,
percentage.
Including yesterday, he started 9 games total, including playoffs.
We'll take yesterday out of it. So
So he started 8 games.
I mean,
You extrapolate that over a full season. That's damn
Well, I
good
mean,
numbers.
the
Yes.
numbers that Stugotz are citing are just his regular season numbers. So
I
that's
know.
6 games. So he averaged more than 2 touchdowns a game.
That's really good.
most talented team in football, but still really good.
But they get to
Yes.
keep the most talented team in football if they don't pay money to a
How-
quarterback.
You say that, and I don't think
Well,
that
one of them.
they're one of, yeah.
Right.
Brandon Ayuk just had a career year for Brandon Ayuk, but it's Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. I look at Philadelphia and I say, wow, they're overwhelming with talent. And they have McCaffrey too now. They added him. Don't get me wrong, but it's not definitive.
It's on the lines, right? It's offensive line. They've got
Yeah.
both McGlinchey and Trent Williams.
I think-
that defense is ridiculous.
If we're looking towards the Super Bowl, though, and seeing how the Eagles got to Brock Purdy and changed that game by getting to him, a high ankle sprain for Patrick Mahomes, an offensive line that doesn't get the praise that San Francisco's offensive line does. I think that's why the public has gravitated towards taking Philadelphia.